We don't talk about them no more. We know what we talk about come August, G Sports. Between August and February, we already know what we're talking about. We talking about football. It's the bottom line. We have finally arrived. It's Leo season. It's football time. We obviously got a preseason game coming up tonight between Pittsburgh and Dallas. But who talks about them, right? I talk about these Saints. Training camp has arrived. We got battles going on. We got different players, making, some surprises, making some, impact in camp. Who have you been watching for in camp? Who you think is making some impression? And what's your take on the quarterback battle between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston so far?
Man, I think Sean Payton is just a loyal dude. And he wants to show Taysom Hill that he's going to give him a legitimate shot to be able to win the job. But I just don't think that Taysom Hill is going to beat Jameis Winston out throughout this preseason. And if he does, I mean, you might have a lot of season ticket holders giving them their tickets. It's just that simple. Taysom Hill is not the answer at all. And I like Taysom Hill, man. We're going to use him in wildcat situations and occasionally put him in and let him do some pass plays where you do some zone reading, let him pull it out and throw it like pop passes and stuff like that. I have no problem with that. But for him to be the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints, I just think we are setting ourselves up for failure if that happens. So, in my estimation, I'm expecting Jameis Winston to have a really good training camp. I'm expecting him to come out here in the preseason and show the Saints fans and Sean Payton and the rest of that organization that he is the quarterback of the future. We all know that Jameis Winston is one of the best arm talents in the NFL. It never was about that for him. For him, it was always about this. Can you make good decisions? Do you know when to throw the ball away? Can you just check it down sometime? Just simple things like that Jameis Winston has not ever did when he was in Tampa Bay. I think Sean Payton
he didn't do that at Florida State.
I think with Sean Payton helps him out and shows him how to be a better decision maker. And we see Jameis Winston throw for over 4,000 yards this year and had his offense looking really, really good. Might not look the same as when Drew Brees was here and when Drew was in his prime, but I think this offense looks really good. Part of the problem going to be too is trying to figure out what's up with this receiver situation. All right, I know he signed Chris Hogan. I think he's a serviceable guy, got good size, good veteran, but somebody else in that room is going to have to show up while Michael Thomas is out. They don't want to come out and see how long Michael Thomas is out. If I had to guess, I'm thinking he's going to be out the first 5-6 games of the season. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. And if that happens, Sean Payton's going to have to really depend on somebody in that room to step up. Somebody, for me, who I think could be that person is Marquez Callaway. And Marquez Callaway can take that next step. And he showed Spurs last year that he can be a really good receiver in this league, but he has to show a level of consistency throughout camp for Sean Payton to have that trust in him. Deonte Harris, if he can stay healthy, I think he is somebody that we need to utilize a little more in the past.
I think he's going to be suspended. I think he's going to be suspended to start the season.
Possibly. But we got to find different ways to get him the ball and not just on gadget plays. Let's use him as a legitimate receiver because it's a great time to be small in the NFL right now. And if we can get him matched up on a safety and a linebacker and put him in space, that is another weapon we can utilize that helps Jameis Winston out. Adam Trautman, I think he is probably one of the biggest keys to this offense this year. If you go back to Jameis Winston's past in Tampa Bay, he loves throwing to the tight end. If Adam Trautman can take that next step this year and get probably around the 400, 500-yard mark receiving this year at the tight end position, I think that'll be really, really serviceable for the Saints offense. We know what Alvin Kamara is going to do. We know what he's going to give us. We know what Latavius Murray is going to give us. We know what that O-line going to give us. If Armstead stays healthy and Pete stays healthy, we got probably a top 3 offensive line in football. So the defense, I love what we got going on at the linebacker situation. I'm a little leery to see how Quan Alexander is going to come back from that torn Achilles, because we know the torn Achilles is like the new torn ACL of this day and age. So I'm hoping he can come back because the way him and DeMario Davis is playing, they was balling together before he got hurt. But the people that I'm paying attention to in this training camp, to make a name for themselves and put themselves in a situation to be one of our impact players this year is Marquez Callaway, Adam Chartman, and on the defensive side of the ball, our third round pick from Stanford,
Paulson Adibo.
That's the three guys. That's the three guys that I'm looking for to make an impact in this preseason and put themselves in position to be some of our impact players.
I would say that Paulson Adibo is the person I'm looking at. I know we signed Prince Ukamara, but to me, he's just a serviceable corner. He's an older veteran corner. He's been around the NFL, and I get it. He's been in different systems, different schemes, and I know you brought him in just for competition and you brought him in for depth, and I understand that. But Paulson Adibo is a person I'm really, really paying attention to. That I'm going to be focusing on during the preseason games. I think he's going to be probably the guy that's going to be slanted to be next to Marshawn Lattimore, pending any, off the field suspension, which it's still question marks over there. But I'm really paying attention. I already know what I get from P. Rob. I already know what I get from P.J. Williams. And please, no one convinced me on Ken Crawley. I'm out. I'm just out. Miss me with all the training camp. Man, look what he's doing here. I'm out. I'm out. What he does in camp is what he does in camp. What he does on Sundays and games is something totally different. He gives up every passing and penalty and every holding penalty you can think about. Okay? I'm out on Ken Crawley. I'm done. I done wash my hands, throw away my glove with him. Okay? Now, moving on to the offense. Now, Peter Warner, prior to now, Quan Alexander being started, was getting a lot of reps next to Demario Davis, which was being reported on. I'm interested in seeing him when the preseason come up. To see the second round pick at Ohio State, see how he's doing and see how he's progressing. Zach Brown has not shown the progression that people were thinking about, and I think he looked more like a special teams kind of guy. So I'm gonna have my eye on Peter Warner and see how exactly the transition is made. And I'm also be having my eye out option in the first round pick. How he's snaps, I'll probably be on the second team of preseason and stuff, but seeing if he's qualified for a lot of first time, first reps. Now, on all sides, it's Marquez Callaway. I got to see what he got to do. Obviously, Michael Thomas being out, you got to figure he's the person that goes. I don't expect him to sideline due to an injury. I don't expect him to step up. I expect him to be what he is: 30 or 40 catches, 300 to 400 yards, a touchdown or 2 or 3. I don't expect nothing more, nothing less. It is what it is. Callaway, on the other hand, to me, has all the ability to really be. He showed a lot during his time when he did play that he could probably be a number 2 receiver. And given the opportunities and having all the reps, that's the person I'm paying attention to. That's the guy I'm looking at myself and say, listen, I think with all the reps and opportunities, when Michael Thomas come back, you have a number 1 and you got a number 2 over here. That's the guy I'm paying attention to. Obviously, Troutman, he's going to have his place in his offense. I think he has to become big first, especially on those first and second downs, having a blanket for Jameis Winston. That's what I'm looking forward to, too. I know they spoke a lot about the kid. I think Jalen
McCleskey.
Last name. McCleskey.
Yeah.
McCleskey.
He's been having an excellent camp so far. He's been having an excellent camp.
Yeah, he's been having an excellent camp so far. I'm looking forward to seeing him in these preseason games. They say he's a speedster, he's blazing, but he's also running routes. A lot of times when we think of the blazer, we think of a guy who's just straight line. He can run a 9 route, or he can run a post, or he can run a corner. But they're showing that he also can run routes. He can run big, he can run out. So I'm also interested in seeing, when time does come, seeing what he does. Now on to the quarterback battle. Let's just keep this 1,000 G sports. Already alluded to it. If Taysom Hill is our 4-time starter for the full 17-game season, I think we're in trouble. We're just in trouble. I get it. Taysom Hill has been on this team for several years now, and obviously now that Drew Brees is gone, I think that he's just trying to, do what he probably promised Taysom Hill that he would do. When Drew Brees retires, I'm gonna give you a fair share and opportunity at this job. But if Taysom Hill is a 4-time starter in his league for this team, we're not going nowhere. Jameis Winston has all the physical tools that you're looking for in the quarterback. You ain't got to believe me. Tampa Bay didn't pick him first overall for nothing. He didn't win the Heisman Trophy for nothing. He won it as a redshirt freshman. He didn't win all these things for nothing. all the tools that you're looking for in the franchise, or if he's not a starting quarterback in this league, Jameis Winston has, hands down. The question has always been the decision-making of Jameis Winston. Not knowing when to throw the ball with, what you alluded to, not knowing to take a sack, not knowing to get out of the pocket and getting rid of the football. Those were all question marks. When he was at Florida State and Tampa Bay, he had all the weapons and tools to make those bad decisions because he had people that could bail him out. Right. But his first season in the war, he had to sit down and watch tape and watch with Sean Payton. Look at this decision. Look at this decision. Look at this play. This is the play here. You got to. If Jameis Winston can put all those things together, he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. If his decision-making gets better, he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. There's no way that Taysom Hill, from a potential standpoint, you see top 10 quarterback in this league. I take Taysom Hill mobility away from him. He's not in this league. He's not in the league. So for the fans who are out there just trying to convince me that, man, Taysom Hill should start, he did it. Are y'all really watching football?
Right.
Like, at some point, are you really watching this game? Like, no. Can he throw the football? Yeah. Does he have an arm? Yes. But it takes more than having an arm and throwing a football to be an NFL quarterback. I mean, Antoine Randall had an arm. When he got here, that's what they did. They moved him to a receiver. Brad Smith had an arm at Missouri. The first thing they did when he got in his league, they moved him to Missouri. Tim Tebow had an arm. The first thing their first opportunity got to get Peyton Manning. Man, get him out of here, please. It is what it is. He is what he is. He's just a more athletic version of a Tim Tebow or that caliber player. That's what he is. So, yes, I think Sean Payton is being a man of his word. He told Taysom Hill some things behind closed doors and he made some promises. And I get it. He's trying to own up to those promises because he probably, if I'm going to say this is what's going to happen. But let's not be foolish here, folks. I don't want to hear about the reports of, man, Taysom Hill had a great day over here today. Jameis Winston has to stop it. Jameis Winston is the guy. Come week one, I don't want Taysom Hill going to go back to being his role, being the X factor, being a swift arm net, as you call it, being white uptown, as you call it, on third down situation, creating a level of uncertainty for the defense and keeping them at bay and keeping them honest. That's his role. That's his job in this league. The starting quarterback for this team is Jameis Winston. And if he can make all the decisions and he can get Michael Thomas back, and we get some people who could come in and merge and step up, Jameis Winston's going to be a top 10 quarterback in his league. And this team going to find a new identity post Drew Brees. But if anything, by thinking that you can have Taysom Hill as your starting quarterback and this is going to be the identity, you're about to go out here and do all this stuff. Boy, stop it. This is National Football League. Y'all lost y'all mind.
Agreed.
It's upsetting, and it's not. This is not a shot at Taysom Hill. This is not a shot at him. This is not tell him that, hey man, you can't be what you want to be, and you can't be who you are, man. Don't strive for dreams and success and goals. No, we just saying you achieved them. We just saying that you achieved your dream. You achieved your success, and you achieved your goal. You made it in the NFL. You survived longer than you're supposed to survive, due to your athleticism and being around in the situation where somebody saw something in you and they figure out how to utilize that ability. Everything we said about you, you've exceeded and achieved and so on and so forth. But we all got limitations. And this is where you reach